Hello, and welcome to this session on what is your value. And I want to describe everything in terms of one story of Owino. Owino lived in Kibera, which is a part of Nairobi city where very, very poor people live. But it is in Kibera, which is not far from the projects that I was running, that I met Owino. Owino was still pretty young. He was the eldest of 4 children, and at that time he was only 12 years old. He was a very good footballer, and he was part of some of the squads that we subsequently developed together with the then Prime Minister of Kenya, who was also the MP of Kibera for very many years, and supported a lot of young people who were having a lot of talent in sport but did not get to utilize it. So our facilities and expertise was used for this. Owino's talent stood out right from the beginning, and within the 3 years that we worked with him as a junior coming up, he showed himself to be a very committed young person, very focused and very hardworking. And it paid off. Eventually, he joined one of the junior squads for a national team and moved on to become a team member of one of the top National League football clubs. I met Owino more recently, and it was interesting to hear his story. And if at this stage you're interested in knowing more about some of the stories that I tell, just remember you need to subscribe. So make sure that you subscribe and like, and stay on with this story to the end, because there are a few interesting things that I want to tell you that will help you. So anyway, back to Owino. Owino started to do extremely well. Of course, he was now a successful footballer. He is still a very successful footballer. And meeting him recently and sitting with him, I realized that in spite of the fact that he was doing so well, he was also very sad. There was something inside him that he felt needed to be settled. And perhaps that is the reason why he decided to come sit with me and have this discussion. You see, Owino performed so well that he was able to move his family out of Kibera. He built a home for his mother, and she was able to live pretty well during the time that she was still alive. She died a couple of years ago. He was very proud of that. He helped his brothers and sister to complete their studies and start to get themselves into a more stable life. However, he always felt and still feels very guilty. And those are some of the things that you wonder, why would a successful person feel guilty? And he says it's because he thinks about those that he left behind. Who did he leave behind? His friends. He was part of a team. They were all committed to doing extremely well, getting to play in the National League, and he was the only one in that team who managed to break through. So he was constantly trying to think, what can I do for members of my team? And every time he tries to do something for himself, he feels extremely guilty. On top of that, Owino has relatives, and they are often in and out of his house asking him for things, and his girlfriend and her family are also having some expectations from him. So I asked him, okay, so everybody wants a piece of you. Is that a bad thing? And he says, no, I don't mind helping, actually. And I agree, because he's been extremely generous with everyone. And that includes even his fans. They reach out to him through social media, and he's always out there trying to do things. I've seen him go out to schools and do the same activities that we had to do for him. He's picked that up and he's moving it forward. But he's not happy. And he cannot put a finger on what the issue could be. What do you think is really disturbing him? I know everybody out there has had experiences, and some of you may be able to recognize a little bit of Owino in you. And if you think you have a solution or have suggestions for Owino, please feel free and write it in the comment section. And let's share, because you know what? I may not have all the answers, but I can tell you one thing: Owino needs our help. But then it goes back to some basic questions that I had to ask Owino to go and think about. And one of them really is, Owino, what is your worth? And here I'm not talking about the amount of money you have and what people think about you. It's inside yourself. How do you feel now that you've moved through, you had all that experience from the time that you started off saying, this is what I want to be, to now that you have reached that level that you had been trying to reach? He says he's actually been able to achieve his goals. And he reminds me about some of the goal settings sessions that we used to have together as a team. And we talk about, the possibilities, and you dream big and start to plan for them. And he says he has gotten there, but he's unhappy. And I said, you know what? What is your worth? Ask yourself, am I worth it? Why do I not feel as if I'm worth it? There are sessions that I run with people who are really interested in moving forward with their lives, like Owino, who want to find solutions. And from time to time, I publish when we would be able to, and I welcome people to join. And those sessions often run for about a week. You get an opportunity to discuss issues with others. You get an opportunity to think about what it is that you need to do to begin to appreciate yourself. Because if you don't appreciate yourself enough, if you don't feel that you're happy, you're not going to improve, and you will not also sustain the wonderful gifts that you now have and the hard work that you had put in. So here's the thing. It's time to take a pause and ask yourself, am I happy? Happiness is a very difficult thing for many people to think about. But there is actually opportunity for you to be pleased consistently with what you are achieving and what you're doing and how you're helping other people. And if that is not happening, and if you have a hole somewhere, something is missing, it is that which begins to fester and become a big wound. And it makes it extremely difficult for you as a human being, as a successful athlete, to improve. So here we go. Think about Owino. And then turn to yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I feel is my worth? What is my value? And everybody has a way of looking at what value means to them. Value could be something that is external to you. It could be something that links you and your family. It could be your love for someone or something. But the best value is how you feel inside of you. So, being a change maker, I'm encouraging you to change yourself so that you can be happier and so that you can be worth what you hope to see of yourself. Take care and keep changing, because that's the only way to get better. Bye-bye.